summertime.
And the living's
I
easy.
I'm Carl. I'm an alcoholic, and my sobriety date is August 22nd, 2014. And you
That's going to come in
are,
handy later for our topic. I'm Lindsay. I'm an alcoholic, and my sobriety date is September 6th, 2015.
and this is SoberPod.
Soberpod.com. Yeah, SoberPod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.
SoberPod is a podcast dedicated to the idea that one addict or alcoholic helping another is crucial to building a life in recovery. Join us this season as we read from our books. I don't know, maybe not today, but our 366 Days Sober, and of course Lindsay's book, Spirit Vigilante, and you can get those by going to soberpod.com or going to thespiritvigilante.com and picking those up today. No, I mean right now. Go pick those up right now today. Oh no, now do it right now. Okay, good. Lindsay, what are we doing here? How
So
are we
I
doing
was
this?
I was thinking about the date. It is June 9th. Summer solstice is in a couple of weeks on the 21st. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about summer and sobriety. And it tends to be more energy in the air, more activity. People are out of their routines, certainly more festivities happening, people taking vacations. So I know for myself that messing up my routine can affect my peace of mind and, all of that. And a big part of sobriety is staying stable. So, Carl, you got sober in August. So it was kind of the tail end of the summer. Was there anything about your experience that you remember, or maybe even that next summer in 2015?
I
Or what was that
totally remember.
experience like?
I was so if you're thinking about summer. I think one of the things that it kind of comes with that is just like travel, and again, everybody goes to their little summer places or whatever. Um, I think one of the things that happened for me was, and it wasn't in summer, it was like in like a late winter, basically, with just starting to be spring, and we went on a RV trip for the first time, and and I went to go pack the RV like I normally do, uh, and I stood at the back of the RV looking at one of the compartments, and I was just like, "What goes in here?" Like I was thinking, like there should be something in here. What goes in here? You know what I mean? And it was just all the alcohol. That's where all the alcohol was supposed to go. I had a whole compartment set aside for just alcohol. That's like how my thinking went down. So of course, there was that. And then when we got to the beach, I made a fire, and it was raining, and I stood outside, um, and I stood there in the rain next to a fire by myself, and there was no alcohol, and I just felt like freaking Charlie Brown kind of moment, like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
and I hated being sober at that moment. I just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand anything. Like, oh my, like I was just sat there like if it wasn't raining, you could have counted my tears. You know what I mean? It was just
Oh.
like that kind of like just that deep sadness of like not being able to drink. I don't know. Give me
Mm-hmm.
a hey, yeah, if you relate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
totally relate. It's almost like, what am I supposed to do with my hands,
Yeah.
especially in social situations, right?
Hmm.
So was there anything that, like, how did you overcome that, or what did you do in that moment, or even future moments?
Funny is like, and I just got back into going to Reddit for a lot of my recovery connections. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just kind of went back into it just recently, so it's kind of cool. Um, but I came home, and I posted about it on Reddit, and I was talking
Oh.
about like how shitty it sucked, and then like everybody reminding me of like, dude, but like you did it. Like you did it. Like, again, I was 4 months in maybe, and that's really hard stuff 4 months to go camping in my RV and not bring alcohol. And and my wife and kids, I'm sure, were just like probably weirded out by it or something. I don't know. They probably didn't know what to do with themselves either.
Right.
Because they're like, how do we do this with Dad not? And then I probably was worse because I was probably all verbal with them and shit rather than sloshy at the fire pit or something. Like, what? Yeah. Dad's not dangerous with the fire. What do we do?
Right. It's like this is a new version of unpredictability where we don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So I posted on Reddit and just said, but I got a lot of kudos for like people saying like congratulations for not drinking, and that was cool. So
yeah, it's interesting you say that because something that I've kind of built into my routine, especially at the beginning, now so not so much, but texting someone before or after an event or even during, calling my sponsor saying this is what I'm about to do, and or calling after and say this is what I did, just having that accountability and someone to tell that I stayed sober during it. Mm-hmm. Are there any, as you did more and more of those things, did you develop any tools like that or techniques that helped you get through those moments?
Yeah, it's the, we talk a lot about firsts in recovery, like your first meeting, your 24 hours, your first 24 hours, your first 6 months, your first 9 months, etc., your first year. We talk about our first birthdays, our first Christmases, like all those things are great. And by the way, and the only way that you're able to get your second and your third and your fourth and fifth and sixth, etc., is because you did it the first time. So, and I think a lot of the times, we tend to rely on those firsts because it's like, so we reutilize those tools when we approach them again in our second, third, and fourth years. And so the firsts are really important, but even just as important are seconds and thirds and fourths. And so, but with a big but you can't be reliving the same life year after year in a Groundhog Day moment. You have to learn to adapt those tools to the new situations. For instance, like I think the following year, I think for Thanksgiving, we went to it's like to Arizona or something. Like we went traveling, and I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know, I mean? I didn't know how to do that. I knew how to do Thanksgiving at home that first year, but I didn't know how to do Thanksgiving somewhere else, and when the neighboring campers are like, would you guys like some wine? How about mimosas? And, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like all that bullshit. Like, you have to incorporate other tools in order to deal with that. So it's not the same thing year after year or situation to situation. You have to regurgitate your tools a little bit and learn how to use those tools in different situations. So yeah, I everything I learned about staying sober, I learned in that first 6 months, right? And it was about not taking a drink, and it was about just saying, and not, language was always important. Like, it's like, that the people that say, I can't drink versus I don't drink, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's funny every time I like hear people talking, like, especially as I'm really attentive now, when I hear somebody say, I can't drink versus I don't drink, I go, oh yeah, I know that mentality, right? Like there's there's a shift that happens, right? And I became somebody who didn't drink, not somebody who couldn't, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really big difference.
Not only the language, but so much of what we communicate is through our nonverbals too, and our tonality and how we say things. And when I first got sober, or I don't even know if I knew I was getting sober, but when I was trying not to drink in an event, I would someone would ask me for a drink or if I wanted a drink, and I'd, very coyly, I'm not drinking tonight. I have something in the morning, and it's like, that is just a negotiate. I was opening up myself for negotiation. And are you sure you can do it? You could just go home early, or just have one, or just have this. And now somebody asks me, which doesn't happen often, because A, people know I don't drink, and B, my activities have shifted tremendously. So it's like, I don't drink.
There's no argument. There's no negotiation around that.
There's no argument.
And every once in a while, you'll get somebody who'll ask you, like, well, is it because of religious purposes?
Right.
Or whatever.
Right. Health.
Sometimes, just depending on the person, I go, yeah. Just fucking with them, most of the time.
Sometimes I say something like, trust me, everyone's better off here if I don't, or I don't because I used to a lot, and that's why I don't now, but I'm pretty good at reversing it back to that person if they're really persistent, which hasn't happened in a long time. Saying something like, I'm good. Like, I stopped succumbing to peer pressure in high school, so we can keep having this conversation or not.
Yeah,
but
it's weird how some people can be. So I think that's funny too. It's like you hear about all this peer pressure, especially early on in sobriety, and sometimes the peer pressure isn't that pressured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think sometimes, most of the times, it's in the person who really wants to drink. In their mind, they're like, he was asking me. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Of course.
He asked if you wanted something to drink. He didn't ask you if you want to get fucked up. You could have chose a Pepsi, okay? You know what I mean? Like, but it's, in your mind, he was pushing alcohol, right? It's
right.
Just shit like
right.
It's a perspective is everything,
I was just gonna say perspective, because someone could be really pushing you and literally putting drinks in your hand, and you can say no. It's your.
And by the way, it does
always
happen.
Your decision.
It does. Happen.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't want to like discount anybody like their experience or whatever. Yeah, it does happen, but again, it's like. It's really up to you and how you respond and how you put yourself in those situations, to be a better responder, right? To act in ways that are responsible for yourself. So, so what about,
go ahead.
What about you in terms of, like, when did you get sober again? What time of the year?
In September. So, Labor Day weekend-ish. So, summer was over, but I did have to go to a wedding within that first month in September 2015. So that was and it was just weird. It was like a family friend. It was just my mom and I who went, which was a weird situation. So, but I got through it, and I even found myself dancing, and I loved dancing when I was drinking, and it was my first time dancing sober. Yeah. So I was really proud of myself. And my mom didn't know. I just said, I'm not drinking tonight, which she was very surprised by, but probably relieved.
She's like, oh my gosh, my daughter's pregnant. My daughter's pregnant.
Oh, I swear that's what everyone thought the first year. Lindsey's not drinking. Like, what the earth must not be on its axis, right? It was just so out of everyone's mental model of me. Like you said, I don't think people knew what to do. I certainly didn't know what to do, not drinking. But I had a lot of techniques and tricks that would help me. If I went somewhere, I would bring a special drink that I only had on those types of occasions. So I had something to look forward to. I would pick up a kombucha on my way. And if I have a drink in my hand, it just helped me not think about it so much. And sometimes it depends on, my level of comfort. Sometimes I would pour it into a cup if I really thought people were going to be harassing me to drink. But usually just having a drink helps me. And I always, and to this day, have an escape route. Always. I make sure my car is not blocked in. I make sure I'm not relying on someone else for a ride home. I make sure I can Uber from that location. That's just something about me anyway that I've learned. Not that I will need to escape. I just need to know that I can. So that was very, very important to me. Knowing that I could go to the bathroom to take a breath and step away was revolutionary. Saying a prayer in the bathroom or texting someone or calling my sponsor. So little things like that I learned along the way. And feeling like I could have something festive too, like a drink. And then mocktails are really popular now. You can pretty much everywhere you go order something that's non-alcoholic. So that was my experience. I certainly found myself romanticizing those old behaviors and, why can't I have a beer on the beach while we're all playing games and that kind of thing. Did you ever come close? Did you ever have any? You're in California, so it's not as big of it's summertime now. Everyone's coming out from their holes. But
there are, Southern California things that we do that are very much like, so 4th of July is huge at the beach,
right.
That's the kind of stuff that we do. So anything around Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, all those kinds of things really start to kick off and really bring, like we just went through Memorial Day, and that's kind of a big kickoff for summer for us. And so it just becomes like, so there's certain things that we do. And, so going to the beach is a huge one, right? So that was always a big, the beach and margaritas for me are just like one and the same. Like, I don't know how, like, you don't bring water to the beach, right? There's already enough water there,
right.
There's
right. Don't bring sand to the beach.
You don't bring sand to the beach, right? You bring margaritas to the beach. That's what you bring. So, yeah.
Obviously.
So that's it's a mind shift. It really is. Like, you have to shift your ability to think and prepare and to do whatever. I think, when we talked about Reddit, that was huge for me, by the way. When I'm thinking about, as you're talking, I was like, oh yeah, like in the summer, like Reddit was huge for me. It was something that I stayed close to. I stayed with the Stop Drinking community, and then the people that I met in there too. That's when I started to actually know them in other areas, like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So I started bringing them into my social. And I was going to meetings, and then sure enough, like I got a sponsor, and that was really unique. So like you said, having somebody on the phone that I could literally just call was like, not my first sponsor. Again, he was out chasing other things in the summer. And but I did get another sponsor eventually that I could call, and he would actually answer, and that was fun. And I think that the routine, like that you get into when you first stop drinking, is great and wonderful, and like for in the fall. So whatever routine you're in right now, if this is your first 30, 60, 90 days, great, like stay with it. It's I think one of the things that people would talk about a lot with summer when I was in the rooms is, I hear this all the time, which is like mowing the lawn for dudes. It's like, oh my God, it is like a fucking thing, because I did it too. Like it's hot. It's like you mow the lawn, and there is nothing. I'm triggering dudes right now. I'm sure they're just like,
you're triggering me.
They're probably mowing the lawn right now when they're listening to this podcast, and they're like, "Holy shit, I'm salivating." But it's true. Like, dude, mowing the lawn is a huge deal. And like, so for me, part of those strategies, I didn't have alcohol in my house. Like when I got sober, for the first 60 days, I had alcohol in the house. And what an insane environment to live in for somebody who wants to be drinking 24/7. That's all I wanted to do. So I battled,
Why?
Because I wasn't sure. I was not sure. I was dipping my toe in. I didn't know that, like, this is the first time I had ever been past 5 days sober in 2 years. So I'm just assuming I'm going to go back at some point. You know what I mean? Like, that's my nature. My nature is to drink. So why would I throw out the 30 cans of beer and the rest of my rum? Why would I do
You're a drinker. We're drinkers. So why would we throw away?
So, So every day I get up in that, up to that 60 days, every day I get up, it's me battling 30 cans. They all had their own
Wow.
voices. I should have named them, actually. Just, all right, Oscar, Brad, Bixby, whatever I
Brad.
name it. Yeah.
Relax.
Shut up, Mark. I can hear you from here, But yeah, but they would be calling to me every day. And then, of course, the rum called to me all the time. And so at 60 days, I had to throw it out. Right, because my wife went to a conference, and I got on Reddit and I said, I don't know what my wife went to a conference. I'm gonna drink. Right, I know I'm gonna drink. Like I just need somebody. And then people were like running through the list, and one of them was like, "Do you have alcohol now?" So I'm like, "Yes, I do." They're like, "Throw it away, you moron!" Like I'm like, "Oh, that's what I'm doing." And so I did, and I thought,
How was that?
Well, so let me just say, I'm still reserved. So I put it in the recycle bin and not the trash can.
Oh. Okay.
So, and I think this is what I think to myself: I'm gonna wheel. It's not even trash day; it's a Thursday or whatever. It's a day after trash day, probably. And I wheel out the 30 bottles and then the fucking rum, and I roll it out to the curb, and I think, well, first of all, I'm rolling it out there going, well, this is really loud. and then I think to myself, if I have to go back out there and get a beer or rum, then I'm really an alcoholic. And never mind that I have been having a conversation with bottles and in my mind for 60 days straight, and I've gone completely mad. If I go out there to get them, then I'll be an alcoholic, not before. So thank goodness. So I left them out there, and I didn't drink because I had this distance in order to do that. But I didn't dump them out because I was afraid if I opened them, that it would be game over. Right?
Interesting.
I didn't want to pour them out down the drain or what. I just thought because if I opened, it would be game over. So, so not having them in the house, and then later down the road in the summer, not having alcohol at all. And that was a very clear statement that I made to my family as well. Like, I am not, like, there's no alcohol to be in this house. Because now I understood myself much better. Because now when I didn't have my wife around, when nobody else is around, the temptation was too great. And it was too early, to be honest. And I knew all these things in my mind, but I just didn't do them. I didn't physically do them. So at this point, when it did come up to mowing the lawn, I am like, a beer would be really good right now. And to not have that beer let me add to not have that cold, refreshing drink in
the condensation.
Oh my God. Right. To not have that in my, to have water available and to have, a LaCroix or whatever sparkling
LaCroix.
drink.
Yes. That's a big one. Yeah. So
to have that in place of actual alcohol or beer just made it so much easier to do. Because I'd already heard all those stories too, right? By the time summer came around, I had already heard all that shit. And I was just like, oh yeah, like this is what you do because it's going to happen. And it did. It did. Like I was mowing the lawn. I was like, it was like noon. And I'm like, because my pattern in the summer was if I was going to mow the lawn on Saturdays, this is how it started. About 11 o'clock is about the time I got out of bed. I came to, and then, shower, shave, whatever. And then about noon, I'm mowing a lawn, and don't you know, that's when you start drinking because you're mowing a lawn, right? It's hot. So I have one, right? I'm just having one. And then, of course, you got to wash the cars, don't you know, right? So now I'm washing the cars, and I'm also drinking. So I go through about a 30-pack just on a Saturday, starting at about 11 to 7 or 8. And then, of course, then I'm drinking rum, right? It's the evening. That's my normal habit, right? So Saturdays are made for beer is all I would think, and Sundays. I mean, and Mondays. Never mind. You get the idea. But that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
any dude could totally relate to that scenario. That is like 100% like
Yeah.
average suburban alcoholic behavior right there. Just I don't
Hmm.
know. What about the ladies? I know it's wine o'clock somewhere. Woohoo!
Wine o'clock. Well, I used to obviously drink all summer, and I had a backpack cooler that I would just walk around with and bring with me bring to parties. I remember going to a baby shower with my backpack cooler of beer
Mm.
because what if they weren't serving alcohol? When I went hiking, when I went anywhere, I had this backpack cooler of beer. And I don't think that's a common lady thing, so that wasn't a good answer. But yeah, I mean, summer, that's kind of what it was for. And just yeah, mimosas, brunch, outside brunch. And it was not good. So when I say I romanticize about having a drink in the summer, I did not drink romantically. So that fantasize is exactly the right word for it, because that's not what it looked like for me. It was not cute. It was not cute to be on the beach with like my bathing suit falling off, but no one telling me for hours because I was so drunk and didn't even care. It's not good. It's not a good situation. But I was going to say something else. Summer. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, managing my energy. I had to learn a lot about that because there's just so much more to do in the summer. And so when I was newly sober, and still, I have to learn how to manage my energy and not plan too much, because being tired and overwhelmed is a huge trigger for me. And I've found myself, like, at the end of the day, if I'm at my fourth event, which would probably never happen today, I get tired and then I start thinking and I'm feeling a little drowsy, which I don't like that feeling anymore because it feels too close to being under the influence of something. But I remember feeling that way and like, oh, I could just have a drink right now, And so I really had to learn how to manage my energy and build in times for myself now that I know that I'm an introvert and highly sensitive and all of that stuff. So that really helped me to just look at my schedule differently and still have some kind of routine during the summer. But how...
I think that I would say that definitely ties into like upcoming reading for the following week, which is like HALTs. As a good book writer, I put in HALTs. Because and if anybody doesn't know what that is, if you're listening and you're new, it's hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and I put S in there because it's because I like to put in sometimes sad. Right, or you could even say sometimes sick, right? But more than likely, if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, you're probably just sick. But I like to put sad in there just because it definitely is something I did when I was drinking. When I was sad, that's perfect time to drink for me. So so HALTs, which is what you're talking about. Like you get that. Oh, I'm like, I just am feeling a little whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, what this reminds me of? Drinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I added B to HALTs for bored.
Bored's a good one too.
And I can be bored at a party with 1 million people. So if I'm bored and I don't know what I want to say to these people, and I found that those events that I used to be drunk at, a lot of them were very boring when I was sober. And so it made me want to drink even more. And I realize now why I drank so much at those events. And just
that's why I don't carry knives or guns at those events. Same reason.
Yeah, of course. So maybe add homicidal ideation to HALTs. Is that what we're...
Yeah, maybe that's what the H stands for.
Maybe. Or happy, or hungry, or it does stand for hungry. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you do when you? So I always say like when you if like it's one thing to just be hungry, right? And like I know I'm hungry. Okay, it's easier to identify. Angry, lonely, tired, whatever, sad. I don't even really consider. So how what I say is like if you reach 2 out of those, for any alcoholic, I believe, and for any person who's grown up under my ilk, I feel that if you reach any 2 out of those 5, you really have to address it, right? Like that, there is no like, so it's, you can be hungry and just kind of like let it go a little bit and kind of go, okay, I'll get food or whatever. But the problem with that for me is always, if ever I'm hungry, I'm angry's coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just like, yeah. So
quickly.
It's just it's gonna come. So I need to address it for me personally. But I can make it if nothing else pisses me off. If I'm just doing something that's kind of like mundane or whatever. If I'm just sitting there watching TV and I'm a little hungry, I can tolerate it, right? But so angry may not come as quick or as hard or whatever. But if I am hungry and now I'm out and about and I'm moving around in summer like lands, right? Talk about summertime.
Yeah.
And you're asking for danger, and that's really where I came. That's where I learned a lot of my HALT's behaviors, or how to check it, was in summertime, because we'd be at Disneyland, and I'd be hungry, and then I would be tired because of the heat, and then it's like, sure enough, you add those two, and and anger's coming, you know what I mean? And so I really learned to like how to check in with myself better. So when it comes to halts, it's like hungry, sometimes it could be physical, right? So I feel that, and then again, tired can also be physical, feel a little bit more drained. But when it came to like, lonely, anger, or sad, those are really all up in my head, and those are like really more emotional type things. So I had to I had to start physically. I had to, okay, am I?
Yeah.
I check in, okay, body scan, right? Like
right.
I go, all right. So I checked out, so nothing physically is going on. Okay, I feel all right. But do I feel achy or whatever? And then I check in mentally, like, am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I sad? Whatever. And then if I can check those off the list, great. Like, but I have to like really condition myself to check in, because if I don't, shit can get real weird real quick. And so I learned a lot of that kind of stuff. How do you do that? What do you do as you go through your listing?
Yeah, I'm constantly checking in, and I might have said this on another episode, but something that I've learned to do is not wait till I get to 0, but wait it, for the hunger thing, for example. I mean, I'm gluten-free and vegan, so I usually have snacks on me, because I'll end up somewhere, even if they said they were going to have food for me, they don't. So I always need, it's like a kid. It's literally like taking care of a child. Have snacks, make sure they're not tired. Yep. I am a child. That's why I'm not having children, because I am still trying to figure out how to take care of this child, which is a full-time job. So, having snacks, that kind of thing. And yeah, like I said, not waiting till I get to 0. Because once I get to 0, it's the point of no return. Now I'm being nasty to people, nasty to myself. I will end up lonely real quick, because I will leave wherever I am in a huff, which hasn't happened in a while, because I think I've gotten better at being self-aware and leaving whenever I want. I'm the master of Irish exits, and that's just like, I'm good. I'm going to go. So yeah, I'm always checking in with myself, and especially in summer, especially when I know my routine is kind of awry. But I was going to ask you, is there what's something that looks different to you, that looks better to you now in the summer? How are your summers better, or events in the summer better now that you're sober?
Well, when you're drinking and everything is just exhausting because of the heat?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking? I mean, I don't know if you remember it, but it was just like, it felt like,
oh yeah.
I mean, first of all, you get up in the morning, you get shit done, you're not stuck. Like, I always got up like when the sun was coming through the window, not like, before at any time. And so, you were I'm able to do things today and get things done, and then be able to like deal with the heat differently, like, seek shade because all the other shit. I'm like not mowing the lawn.
No, we're plants too.
Yeah,
we're
right.
Plants and kids seek shade.
So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I manage my person better.
Yes.
There's I don't know if have you ever, well, you haven't because you don't have kids. There's nothing worse, I'll tell you, than being hungover and dragging a freaking wheelbarrow full of kid shit and kids through the sand at a beach while you're hungover, and don't forget you're like forcing the kids to carry the alcohol in the.
I remember because I lived it as the child. And I see it all the time now, and it's exhausting. So
it's exhausting. So everybody carries like twice as less shit because you don't have to carry all the ice and all the alcohol, right? Because there's just not a pack of alcohol that you have to bring and ice and shit. So it just makes like everything so much more tolerable. Not only that, like I'm physically capable, and again, I've gotten older, and actually things have happened to me physically, so I'm still really thankful too, because like I'm dizzier, you know what I mean? Like I have like other conditions going on. I had to have like lung surgery, bladder cancer, like all this. I could not imagine drinking on top of all of these other conditions. That would be so weird, but. The peace of mind to be able to walk onto a beach with my family without yelling at them, fucking being an asshole, and again, underneath, I don't know that I'm yelling. I'm only yelling to support my alcoholism. That's it. I just bring my fucking beer, you goddamn people, right? It's so like selfish on the ultimate level. And it's like, and again, when I get there, I just want to, like Caesar in his little sand kingdom, like I just want to drink beer and stay on my chaired throne or whatever the hell it is, and just be left alone. And kids, please go drown in the surf while the lifeguard saves you, because I certainly won't be capable of doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, and then here's the best part. Now imagine all that, but then do it all over again the next day because you're camping at the beach. You know what I mean? It's like, it's impossible.
It's so much to manage.
And then you wonder, like, how did I do all that shit before? Like, how did I manage to drink all night, get up and do it all day, and then do it one more goddamn day? That just seems like utter insanity to me today, right? Is that not crazy?
It's I don't know how I did it either, and that we're choosing to do it just sounds like some kind of hell.
It is
that and you had also, I don't know if this was during the summer, but at least the summer theme when you threw, was it in the pool where you threw your daughter?
Actually,
or at the beach?
No, that was at when I accidentally dropped her. Is that what you're saying? When I almost dropped her? Yeah, no, that was
playing
poolside.
With her.
Yeah.
And
it was poolside.
Yeah.
That's,
so just another kind of layer of danger.
Danger.
Yeah. I mean, I see all of that happening on the beach now, and I'm just, it was exhausting. Waking up, drinking, making sure that you're not going to run out, like always making sure you have enough fuel on you, almost like stopping at the gas station for your car, just making sure you have everything in order so that you won't run out of drinks, because there's nothing worse than running out of drinks on the middle of a summer day. So
again, what's the point of drinking if you're going to run out,
That's just, crazy.
So I do want to recommend a book for this. It seems like really early sobriety focused kind of podcast, but there is the book Living Sober from AA World Services Organization.
Yes.
And it really does cover a lot of the basics around like if we didn't cover enough tools for you and you're listening and you're like, how do I navigate this summer party? Well, Living Sober actually has like a lot of tools for that stuff, and it really is like kind of focused on stuff that I was just talking about, like like my early, like I had to throw away my alcohol, duh. And you had talked about like having bringing kombucha and putting a drink in your own hand, and that kind of stuff. Living sober covers all that stuff, and they even cover stuff like eating hard candies or having chocolate or like
it's a little dated.
But they really, if you could translate it, you can translate it. And
I'd love to and I'll probably post something like this on Instagram, or maybe I would love to hear from other people if you have any tips or techniques that get you through the summer, or those just energized frenetic times, for sure. So what's one thing, Carl, do you have anything coming up this summer, Carl, that you're excited for, and especially to be excited that you're sober for?
Do I have anything that I am excited for? Do I have anything coming up? I do have karaoke on the third Friday of this month.
What's it called? Soberoki?
Soberoki, yeah, I know you hate the name of it. Soberoki.
I love
so if you are in the Southern California area and you want to make a road trip to the Corona Serenity Club, you can go look it up. It's Corona Serenity Club, and it will be the third Friday of this month, whatever month this is for you. And I do it every month, so which is kind of one of those things. So we want to give away prizes or gift cards when we do it, because we make it much more interesting. But it's a $5 donation to the club, so all the money goes to benefit the club and their efforts in recovery community, our local recovery community. So that's it. That's the only thing I really look forward to. But if I ever do get any shows or comedy events, I will definitely let you know if I ever feel like ever doing that for real.
No, you will. And if I were in California, or one day I'll have to make a trip out there and make it to Soberoki. I mean, I think that I need to make that happen at some point. But and one of your future comedy shows.
What about
that will happen?
Yeah, what about you? What are you doing? You got stuff going on, don't you?
I have a bunch of stuff going on. What I'm most excited for this summer and excited to be sober for is I have a girls' beach weekend coming up, which probably wouldn't have happened drunk because I didn't really have any quality girlfriends that would want to spend a weekend with me. I probably wouldn't want to spend a weekend with just girls. And I'm excited to be sober for it because we're just going to have so much fun. And they aren't sober, but they just don't drink because they're
not sober. I love that.
They're not meeting sober, but they're just, like I said, responsible humans who are in their 30s and don't drink.
They're just people who don't want to get shit faced and fall down and die. That's one.
It's really weird. It's really weird. Yeah. Yeah. So just a fortunate accident there. But that's something that, like I said, I just wouldn't have looked forward to. And I'm so excited. I'm painting with pigs in a couple weeks at a sanctuary. Like, the pigs hold the paintbrush and paint. I don't know how it happens, Carl, but I'm so excited.
Some weird shit.
I don't know how I find it. There's this event Friday night I'm going to with bunnies. You just play with little bunny. That's a girls' night thing too. Anyway, that's just things I'm going to, not things that I'm hosting. What I'm really excited for is I'm hosting or teaching a class online. I sent you the link just to show you what I'm up to. I sent you a link for another writing class. But with that same organization, I'm teaching an online writing class that's ongoing and that you can kind of complete at your own leisure. It's self-paced, but there's community and people can comment. It's called Finding Your Authentic Voice, and it starts in the middle of June 16th. So we can
put that in the show notes. Are you instructing that, or are you just
I'm instructing it, and I've instructed it in person before with like four classes in person, 4 Saturdays in a row, but I've never done it online, and I'm building the curriculum now on this platform called Wet Ink, and I love it. So cool. I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And it's for all creatives, not necessarily just writers, but just kind of all of the stuff that we've talked about
and
before.
not just for not just sober
No.
people either, right? Like it's not just recovery.
No.
It's open for
No.
everybody. Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yes.
so you recovery people can bring your friends. So go look it up.
Yeah.
And where
yeah.
can they find this information on your website?
They can find it on my website or on my Instagram. Yeah.
What's
I'll
your
be
website
posting
again?
a lot. My website's thespiritvigilante.com and my Instagram is @spiritvigilante.
I really gotta get you used to this like self-promotion thing.
Link it.
You're like, I'm like, so Lindsey, like, where's your web? Yeah, my website. I'm like, and the fucking name is.
Yeah. No, it's good.
fucking
Please teach me. I'm open to any feedback.
I
But
just think it's
yeah,
great. You're just totally not geared for self-promotion. I think that's wonderful. Okay,
I'm working
totally am.
on
I
it.
am
I'm
like,
working on it.
It's like,
Yeah.
so soberpod.com, sober. No, okay.
This has been brought to you by.
yeah. So Lindsey, do you want to wrap this up? You want to take this home? We'll drive
Yeah,
all the way in?
let's wrap it up. So we said
Put a
what we're
bow on
looking
it.
forward to this summer. Is there any last minute tips that you have for people? I know we talked about very many practical tips throughout this episode, which is exciting, but what's like one last thing you would say to our lovely listeners?
For summertime specifically?
Yeah, for summertime. Yeah.
Summertime specifically. If this is your first summer, which mine was beautiful, by the way, that's when I really started to find out that I joined the good team. We talked about that in a previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time. And if you're newly sober, just like pay attention. Like the grass is going to be greener. The sky is going to be more blue.
Yeah.
The water is going to be more wet. It's going to be, the water is going to be more clear, right? Like you will notice things that you never have seen in your entire time drinking. It's going to feel like it's completely new, but I want you to remember that, take the pictures, plan the day, take the time, drop your phone. Phones kill more alcoholics than alcohol does. So drop your phone
point.
and
Go outside.
Around. Yeah, go outside. I think that's about it. How's that?
That's beautiful. I love that. Nature, just being in nature is so healing. My tip would be you do not have to attend everything you're invited to.
Oh, good tip.
Yeah. Yeah. You really don't. I needed to hear that. I did not know that. And I think last episode we were talking about giving yourself permission. I am signing your permission slip right now. You do not have to go to every single thing that's happening, every concert, every birthday party, every beach trip. You don't. So
yeah, I agree 100%. And that was one of the words of wisdom I got from my sponsor who passed. He basically said, like, Carl, you've called me from that driveway 3 years in a row now. He's like, how often do you go visit this guy? And I'm like, once a year. And he's like, you don't have to go next year. And I haven't gone since. I just haven't gone since.
Wow.
And I am a better person for it. There you go. That's all there is to it. He's a jerk. I can be an asshole when he's a jerk. Ta-da!
What a concept. And how much freedom do you feel from that?
Exactly. Right? I don't ever have to go again. And I'm quite all right with that.
Yeah.
So
it's usually not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Either. To make those decisions. Cool.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, share. It's funny. Like I would really love for the podcast to grow a little bit more legs and a little bit more arms and tentacles into other areas. So by all means, if you are the kind of person that gets anything out of this, please share, like, subscribe, share on your social media, and don't forget to come on Facebook. We are on SoberPod. So facebook.com/SoberPod somewhere, or groups/SoberPod. So go on there and you'll see a lot of your like-minded fellows. Maybe you'll celebrate your milestones like some people do there. I think somebody just posted something on their milestones and I forget what it was or who it was, but thank you for posting that. And that's about it.
Awesome.
Lindsey, What do you say to the kind, wonderful, loving people?
Trust your truth.
And I say, stay active, stay sober. See ya, motherfuckers!
Great.
That's for Chelsea. That's just for Chelsea.
Soberpod.com. Yeah. It was a sight to see him. Breakfast with Sprite and Seagrams. Wrestling with my vices, exercising my demons. My blessings were blocked, so I never got the message. I'm stressing, I'm only 12 steps from an exit. Regret it, because my imperfections were perfected. I ain't run from it, I accept it and rep it. It's a badge to me, good stories come from a tragedy. And when you survive, the glory will come in Act 3. The wait's over, 366 days sober. Morning affirmations that can start the day for you. Use my favorite bookmark for a placeholder. Finish when the day's over. Okay. Yeah, sober pod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.